Welcome again to Dataport Analytics. Today we shall discuss how to import data into Stata software. In the previous video we discussed how to import data into Stata. We discussed how to import either Excel or CSV file into Stata. For this particular video, we shall discuss how to import data into Stata using the data editor tool. We shall discuss how to import data into Stata using the data editor tool. So the first thing that you have to do is that if you check in this, we have two icons. We have the data editor into bracket edit, that is into the data editor in edit mode, and then we have the data editor in browse mode. So the difference between the two is that for the edit mode you can be able to edit the data, and then for the browse mode you only see the data, you cannot edit the data. So the first thing is to click on the data editor edit mode, and then this particular window will open. Then the next thing is you go to where you have stored your data. This is my data. So the data is already saved in Excel. So we want to import or to copy and paste this data into the data editor edit mode. So you can see my data. So the first column is the ID. So the second column is the caloric intake. The third column is the protein intake. The third column is the age of the respondents. The fourth column is the gender, and then the last one is the BMI. So we have a total of 50 observations. We have 50 observations because the first observation starts from row 2, and then it proceeds up to row 51. So we have 50 observations. So what we do is that we copy this data. Control C, we copy that data. When you copy that data, we come here into the data editor edit mode, and then we paste. When you paste that data, this pop-up will appear. It says the first row on the clipboard contains values that can be used as valid variable names. So it asks you, do you want to treat the first row as variable names or raw data? So you want to treat the first row as variable names. So you select variable names, you click on it. So the data will be automatically be imported into the data editor of the Stata software. So you can see the first row is actually the variable names. You can see the ID, the caloric intake, the protein intake, the age, gender, and the BMI. Then you can see that the data has started from number 1 all the way up to 50. So we have 50 observations. So when you look at the other window, the variable window, let me expand it a bit. So if you look at this variable window, you can see now we have the name of the variables, and then we have the labels of the variables. And then if you look at the variables, the properties window, if you look at the properties window, then you can see the variables name, label, format, etc. So what you want to do is that we may need to adjust, or we may need to change the name of the variables. So if you click on the first variable like that, the ID, this first variable ID, maybe you may need to edit the label of the variable. So when you click on that, you click here on the label, so you can be able to edit the name. So you can say ID of the respondents like that. So when you write the ID of the respondents like that, you click enter. You can see that the label of that variable has actually changed. So it is not ID now, it is ID of the respondents. So maybe we can change it from caps to smaller letters. So ID of the respondents like that. Then you click enter, so you can see it has changed. So when you click on the second variable, we may need to change this name. It is caloric intake, but the name here, it is not being displayed in the whole of it. And considering that we may use it during the analysis, we may need to change this name. So let us change this name and let us call it Caroline. You can just call it Caroline like that, and then when you click enter, you can see that the name has actually been changed. So then the label is caloric intake. Then we double click on the third variable. That variable is protein intake into grams. But you see this name, because it should not have space between it, then it does not appear appropriate. So we can just edit the name. We can just call it protein like that. Then you click enter, and then you can see that the name has changed. Then we have the age. Maybe we can adjust the label. We come here to the property tab. Then you can rename it as age of the respondents. Then you click enter, and then you can see it has changed. And then you can also come to the variable gender. Maybe gender can remain like that, and then the BMI can remain like that. So now that is how we import the data into Stata maybe that's how we import data from to Stata by copy and pasting it into the data editor into the edit mode. And then we may also need to, if you look at this data, you can see that ID is in numeric, Caroline is in numeric, protein is in numeric, age is numeric, gender is not numeric. Gender is a binary variable where 1 refers to male and 2 refers to female. Then BMI is a continuous variable. So we may need to adjust the gender so that it reflects that it is a binary variable. So what you do is that you double click on the gender variable, double click on the gender variable here, and then you come here to the value label. You see here value label. When you click the value label, you click on these 3 dots here. When you click, this window will open up. So what you do is that you create a label. When you create a label, you can just call it gender. The label name, you can call it gender of respondents like that, gender of the respondents. And then you say that the value 1 are males, all is male. Then you click add. Then you write that the value 2 are female. Then you add. So you can see we have created a label name where 1 is male and 2 is female. Then after that, you click OK. Click OK like that. Then it asks you the label name, gender of the respondents. So you can just call it gender. Let's the label name be gender. Then you click OK like that. So you can see we have created value labels named gender, and when you expand it, you can see that 1 is male and 2 is female, and then you can close. So that is how we import the data into Stata using the data editor mode on the data editor interface, and then that is also how we put the value labels of a variable.